In this video, you're going to learn how to slay Riff by Mighty Riff, Fireface by highonfire. What's going on? Welcome to Beholden to the Riff, the heaviest bass channel on YouTube. My name is Jered. Thank you so much for checking out this lesson, and let's get right into it. We're in C standard, so grab your axe, tune down a couple steps, and let's do it. The intro riff uses the open E string as sort of a drone note, and we just keep coming back to it. All the other action is happening on the A string, and basically we're going to outline the minor scale in the first half, and the second half of the riff we're going to bring in some of the dissonant notes like the tritone and the minor second. So here's the first half. This riff uses a ton of slides, and even though we're sliding up to a certain fret, we still want to pick that note. So we want to play it like this, as opposed to this. We want to pick that note, gives it a little more kind of punch, a little more rhythmic feel. Second half of the riff starts off 7th fret A string. This is our root note. Slides up to the tritone on the 13th fret. Give it a little vibrato. Then we slide down to the perfect 4th, 12th fret. He alternates between giving the 12th fret vibrato or doing a trill, which is a super fast hammer-on pull-off from the 12th fret to the 13th fret and back and forth. After this, play the 12th fret, slide down to the 8th fret. This is our minor second, really gnarly note. The perfect way to set up a song here. Riff number 2 picks up the pace and features a ton of hammer-ons from the 5th fret to the 7th fret on the A string, as well as the D string. And at the end, we're going to have a slick little run all the way down the A string. So here it is, nice and slow. So the main groove is in groups of 3 and kind of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We got to keep that feel throughout this whole riff. So the first measure is all hammer-ons, 5 to 7. And this riff, we are going to play the 5 and hammer on to the 7 without picking. Second measure, we're going to throw in a couple 5/7s on the D string. Third measure, straight back to the A string. So far, here's what we have. Then we go into that descending run. All going to happen on the A string, and it's still kind of felt in groups of threes. So the first group is 10, 12, 10. And it's kind of hammer on pull up. Then 9, 10, 9. Then 7, 9, 7. Then we just go down to 5, hang here for a little bit. So the last measure of this riff switches up the rhythm a little bit. We go into 3 groups of 3, whereas the rest of the riff we've been doing in 4 groups of 3. So here's the last measure. Starts off just 5th fret. Next group of 3. Last group. So here's the run plus the last measure. Here it is, full speed. Riff number 3 outlines the same melody as the intro riff, this time without that drone note. So first half. Second half goes up to the tritone just like before, down to 12, and then hits that minor second on the 8th fret. Here it is all the way. Here it is, full speed. Before we get into the next riff, a huge thank you to the Patreon members. You make this all possible. Thank you so much. Riff number 4 starts off with a pummeling on the root note, 7th fret A string. You can kind of count that part as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The next measure comes up to the 10th fret. Tenth fret A string. Then we go 8th fret D string. Back to the 10th fret. Then 3rd fret E string. Next measure, 9th fret. All on the A string, 9th fret, down to 5. Last note, 5th fret E string. Back into the pummeling. Next part of the riff sounds killer. So much fun to play. Basically descending down the minor scale in thirds. If you're hip to theory. If not, don't worry about it. Just play it like this. Sounds awesome. So we go 7th fret A string, 5th fret D string. Then 5th fret, 4th fret. Then we go to the E string, 7th fret, 5th fret A string. Back up to A string, 5. And back into the root note. Next part of the riff uses the same kind of arpeggio idea. This time 9th fret A string, and we go up to the 8th fret D string. Then we come down 3rd fret E string, 5th fret A string, basically power chord. Shift it down, 2nd fret, power chord, same thing. Then from the 2nd fret, we slide up to the 10th fret. And back into the pommel, but this time happening on the 12th fret. Same note. Just easier with the slide. So far, here's what we have, starting on that root note, pommel. So here's the first phrase. Here's that second phrase. Third phrase, 9th fret. From there, we're doing the kind of groups of thirds thing again, starting on the 12th fret. So it goes 12, 10, 12, 10, 9, 10, 7, 5, 7, back up to 10, 9, 10, finish on that 12. The song finishes off with a new interpretation of the intro. Goes like this. Kind of sets up the riff with a few measures of going back and forth between the 7th fret E and the open E, just kind of doing the octave thing here. From there, we outline the intro. And just huge crashes forever, and then kind of ends the kind of rock and roll ending, smash crash, and just go. Just make sure you end last note, 7th fret, and we're out.
Hope you dug the lesson. Be sure to check out the live footage of some old school High on Fire laying it down.